Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to immediately challenge pretty much everything you've ever been taught about earning a living. You know that standard advice, get a safe job, save 10% of your paycheck, and just wait 50 years to be rich? Well, today we're diving into MJ DeMarco's The Millionaire Fastlane to see exactly why that conventional path might actually be a massive trap. We're breaking down the source material to show you a completely different mathematical equation for generating real wealth.
So, let's start with a high-stakes hook straight from the text. What if I told you that trading 5 days of work for 2 days of freedom is literally a criminal trade? The author argues that accepting this default lifestyle guarantees you'll only be wealthy when you're in a wheelchair, too old to actually enjoy it. I mean, think about it for a second. We're all conditioned to celebrate Friday and completely dread Monday. But prostituting your Monday through Friday just to get a taste of Saturday and Sunday, it's an insane bargain.
The math here is incredibly sobering. Trading 5 days of your life for 2 days off is a negative 60% return on your time. That is an absolutely horrific deal. Look, if an investment banker sat down and offered you a negative 60% return on your money, you'd laugh them right out of the room, right? Yet millions of us wake up every single day and willingly accept this exact negative return on something way more precious than money, our time. You're trading your life away for little pieces of paper that buy you a weekend. Okay, let's map out how to actually fix this. Today, we're covering the criminal time trade, the 3 roadmaps to wealth, switching teams from consumer to producer, the Fastlane frameworks of C.E.N.T.S and Affection, and finally, why wealth is fundamentally a process.
Section 1. 3 Roadmaps to Wealth.
According to the source, your financial destiny comes down to which of these 3 distinct roadmaps you choose to travel. First up, the Sidewalk. This path is all about instant gratification, spending every dime you earn on the newest gadgets or flashy vacations. The guaranteed destination here? Poverty, usually fueled by debt. Then there's the Slowlane. This is what society pushes on us, sacrificing today, clipping coupons, dumping money into a 401k, all for a destination of mediocrity around age 65. But then there's the fast lane. This lane shifts the entire focus away from your own time and onto systems and leverage, which is the secret to rapid wealth creation.
The text makes a super compelling argument that the slow lane is just mathematically broken. Why? Because it relies on what's called uncontrollable limited leverage. Basically, your wealth is tied to things you have zero control over, and things that simply cannot scale. You can't control what the stock market does over 50 years, right? And you are hard capped by the 24 hours in a day. You can't just decide to work 10,000 hours next week to boost your income. Your leverage is entirely limited by the clock.
Section 2. Switch teams, consumer versus producer.
To actually escape the slow lane, you need an absolute paradigm shift. You have to completely switch allegiances. Instead of being part of the passive, consuming majority, the text insists you have to become an active, system-building producer of the minority. There's a brilliant analogy for this. Instead of sitting on the couch buying the products you see on TV, you need to be the one selling those products. Instead of taking a class, offer the class. Instead of borrowing money, be the one lending it. When you shift your focus to producing, you unlock the ability to generate wealth instead of just draining it.
Once you make that mental switch and become a producer, boom, you've entered the fast lane. You swap out all those old limitations for controllable, unlimited leverage. Out here, wealth is driven by business systems and asset value. You're no longer trading an hour of your day for an hourly wage. You're building a system, or a money tree, as it's called in the text, that operates completely independent of your time. If you write a successful book, code a software program, or build a highly scalable business, that system generates value 24/7. It works while you sleep, while you eat, or while you're on a beach somewhere.
Section 3. Fastlane Frameworks. C.E.N.T.S and Affection.
But let's get practical. How do you actually build one of these Fastlane businesses? Because, let's be real, starting a neighborhood lemonade stand isn't going to make you a millionaire. The source lays out concrete mathematical rules called the C.E.N.T.S framework to ensure you're actually building a wealth-generating system and not just accidentally creating another job for yourself. First is control. You have to drive the ship. Don't build entirely on a third-party platform that could just ban your account tomorrow. Second, entry. There need to be high barriers. If anyone can copy your business in 10 minutes, the market's going to flood. Third, need. You must solve a real problem for people, not just chase a personal hobby. Fourth, time. Your income must eventually disconnect from your physical presence. And finally, scale. The business literally has to be able to reach a massive market.
Which brings us perfectly to an absolute mathematical law that the source hammers home over and over. To make millions, you must affect millions. Period. This is the law of affection.
Your wealth is directly tied to the impact you have on the world. If you can solve a problem for a massive number of people, the money naturally flows back to you as a reflection of the immense value you just provided.
And the beauty of the law of affection is that you can trigger it in two very different ways, through massive scale or massive magnitude. Let me break that down. Scale means you're impacting millions of people, but maybe with a tiny profit margin. Say selling 20 million pens for a small 75-cent profit each. That nets you $15 million. Magnitude, on the other hand, means you're impacting a much smaller group of people, but with massive, life-changing value, like developing and selling just 14 commercial buildings for a $400,000 profit each. That still makes you $5.6 million. Both paths, scale and magnitude, perfectly satisfy the mathematics of extreme wealth.
Section 4. Wealth is a process.
Now, before you start packing your bags for early retirement, let's ground all this excitement in reality for a second. Understanding the math is only half the battle. Creating this kind of wealth requires hitting what the author calls the red line, pure, unadulterated, grueling commitment to building your system day in and day out. This is not some get-rich-easy scheme. Actually, building a Fastlane business is a lot like raising a child from birth to adulthood. It requires immense sacrifice, a ton of late nights, and navigating a bunch of failures before that system can finally sustain itself and give you your time back.
So if you take away nothing else from this explainer, remember this. Wealth isn't a lottery ticket. It's not a lucky event or an overnight success story. It is the continuous execution of a mathematical process. When society sees a 20-something entrepreneur sell their tech startup for $50 million, they call it a lucky event. Wow, they hit the jackpot. But what the public doesn't see is the process, the years of grinding, coding, marketing, stressing out, and refining that C.E.N.S framework that made the eventual payday a mathematical certainty. After seeing the hard math behind the criminal time trade, the built-in limitations of the slow lane, and the incredible leverage of the fast lane, the source leaves us with a pretty heavy reflection. Take a really hard look at your own financial vehicle right now and ask yourself, which roadmap are you currently driving on? And more importantly, are you ready to switch lanes?